A fateful day in history, a day that will never be forgotten, a day when America stood still. Yes, we are talking about 9/11. Today, we'll be taking a trip down memory lane and reliving one of the most tragic days in American history, September 11th, commonly referred to as 9/11. We'll explore how this day unfolded, the events that transpired, the impact it had on the world, and how it continues to shape our lives today. Join us as we delve into the details of this pivotal moment in history. The morning of September began like any other day in New York City. People went about their daily routines, unaware of the chaos that was about to unfold. But soon, the tranquility of the city would be shattered forever. At 8:46 a.m., the first of two planes, American Airlines Flight 11, crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The impact was so forceful that it caused significant damage to the 96-story building. People were stunned and confused as they witnessed the smoke billowing from the top of the tower. Eyewitnesses described the scene as if something out of a movie. No one could believe what they were seeing. A massive commercial jetliner, thousands of tons of steel and aluminum tearing through the side of one of the tallest buildings in the world. And then there was the fuel, the fire, the heat, and the dust. The world was watching in disbelief as the full weight of the disaster began to sink in. It was an unprecedented event, something that had never happened before. A plane had just flown into one of the twin towers. At first, there was confusion and uncertainty. What had happened? How could a plane have hit the tower? And then the realization dawned on everyone involved, including emergency services. This was no accident. Someone had deliberately flown a plane into the building. The shock and horror were palpable. People were afraid, confused, and unsure of what to do next. The emergency services sprung into action, rushing to the scene to try and help anyone who could be helped. But the scale of the disaster quickly became apparent. It was a scene of utter devastation. People were trapped in the rubble, injured, and in need of medical attention. The air was thick with smoke and dust, making it difficult to breathe, let alone see. The noise of the impact still ringing in everyone's ears. Despite the danger, emergency workers showed incredible bravery and determination. They worked tirelessly to save anyone they could, pulling people from the rubble and providing medical assistance. Their courage and selflessness were truly inspiring. As they rushed to the scene, more and more people were evacuated from the area. The streets were quickly emptied, leaving behind a scene of total devastation. The once busy city streets were now eerily quiet. The only sound, the sirens of emergency vehicles rushing to the scene. As the dust settled, the true extent of the damage became clear. The North Tower of the World Trade Center was badly damaged, with smoke and debris filling the air. It was a devastating sight, a symbol of the destruction and loss that had occurred. But amidst the devastation, there was hope. Emergency services were working tirelessly to save those trapped in the rubble, and the city was coming together to support one another. But the horror was far from over. Just 17 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 also crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. The second plane was seen flying erratically, indicating that someone was intentionally maneuvering the aircraft. The impact was devastating, and the second tower was engulfed in flames. It was a horrifying sight, a scene straight out of a disaster movie. The people who had survived the first impact were now faced with the reality of a second plane crashing into the other tower. The shock and confusion were overwhelming. The Twin Towers were supposed to be a symbol of the city's strength and resilience, but now they were crumbling before their eyes. People were evacuated from nearby buildings as the second plane crashed into the South Tower. The fiery scene was a terrifying sight to behold. The plane's engines roared as it tore through the side of the building, sending debris and smoke billowing into the sky. But even in the face of such terror, people displayed remarkable courage. They helped others to evacuate, rushing to get them to safety while the ground shook beneath their feet. The disaster was unfolding in real time, and the world was watching in disbelief. The images of the second plane crashing into the tower were beamed around the globe, leaving people in awe and horror. It was a scene that would be seared into the minds of everyone who witnessed it. At 9:37 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 crashed into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after passengers fought back against the hijackers. And at 10:03 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. These attacks claimed the lives of nearly 3,000 people and left many more injured or missing. The attacks were a terrible tragedy and a dark day in American history. The impact of these attacks was felt not only in the United States but around the world. The global community was shocked and saddened by the loss of life and the senseless violence. But amidst the tragedy, there was unity. People from all walks of life came together to mourn the victims and support one another. The attacks also had a profound impact on the U.S. government. It led to the launch of the global war on terror, which saw the U.S. military intervention in countries such as Afghanistan and Iraq. The attacks also resulted in increased security measures at airports and other public places. As the day wore on, the shocking events continued. United Airlines Flight 93, which had taken off from Newark, New Jersey, bound for San Francisco, California, was also hijacked. However, unlike the other flights, this one did not reach its intended target. The passengers and crew of Flight 93 fought back against the hijackers, preventing them from carrying out their sinister plan. The plane ultimately crashed into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, killing all on board. Meanwhile, American Airlines Flight 77, en route from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles, California, was also hijacked. The plane's intended target was believed to be the White House or the U.S. Capitol building. However, the hijackers lost control of the aircraft and it crashed into the Pentagon just outside Washington, D.C. All on board the plane and some Pentagon employees were killed. As the dust settled and the shock wore off, the nation was left reeling from the magnitude of the attacks. It was a day that had begun like any other, and now it would never end like any other. The attacks of 9/11 were a turning point in history. They changed the way we travel, work, and live. They also had a profound impact on the world stage, leading to wars and conflicts that continue to this day. In the aftermath of the attacks, the United States launched the Global War on Terror, which has seen military interventions in countries such as Afghanistan and Iraq. The attacks also led to increased security measures at airports and other public places. But despite the fear and uncertainty, the American spirit of resilience and unity shone through. In the face of adversity, the country came together to support one another. First responders, emergency services, and ordinary citizens alike displayed incredible bravery and selflessness. They rushed to the scenes of the attacks, helping to evacuate people and provide assistance to those in need. In the following days, weeks, and months, the nation mourned the loss of life and paid tribute to the victims of the attacks. Memorial services were held across the country, and the nation came together to remember those who had been lost. The attacks of 9/11 were a tragedy of immense proportions. They were a senseless act of violence that claimed the lives of nearly 3,000 people. But in the face of such darkness, the human spirit prevailed. The bravery, resilience, and unity displayed by the people of the United States in the aftermath of the attacks is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. On this day of remembrance, we pay tribute to the victims of the attacks and their families. We honor the courage of the first responders and all those who showed selflessness and bravery. We also reaffirm our commitment to the values of tolerance, understanding, and peace in the face of hate and intolerance. The attacks of 9/11 were a dark chapter in world history, but in the darkest of times, the human spirit can shine through. Let us remember the lessons of this day and strive to build a better, more tolerant and peaceful world for all. What are your thoughts on the attacks of 9/11? Do you remember where you were when you heard about it? Please feel free to leave your comments below. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support means everything to us. And if you'd like to learn more about our channel, you can do so here. Once again, thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.